Tour of my awesome store.
First floor, worky wear.
Outrageous.
And if it's wacky sports you're wild for,
Sports gear.
we'll very happily equip you wackily.
It's wacky. It's wild.
It's news. New Purple Source Rex from Kool-Aid. It's prehysterically.
He's wild going down. It's the purplest flavor around.
New Purple Source Rex from Kool-Aid. It's prehysterically.
Bambino te presenta a las deliciosas, ricas y divertidísimas paletas Dalky, con deliciosa cubierta sabor chocolate.
Sabor grande para el pequeñín. Dalky, solo para ti.
Dalky de Bambino te espera aquí.
5 years. Let's see, that's 260 weeks times 168 hours every week at roughly 2 kilowatts every hour, and 1.5 cents saved on every kilowatt. That comes to exactly $1,310.40. That's enough for me to buy an all-electric washer and dryer, a brand new stove with electric fryer, refrigerator that makes it so nice, a home computer, that would be nice, and that's enough for me to be living like a king.
Build a rate reduction into new construction. Ask for an all-electric Good Sense home. Call your local electric cooperative for details.
Welcome to Nick Rocks, where you'll see the hottest, wildest, craziest videos around from the Thompson Twins, the Go-Go's, the Pretenders, and Denise Williams. Here's our first video to go by Denise Williams. Let's hear it for the boy.
An addiction can make one's life feel hopelessly tangled. The Addiction Treatment Center's alcohol and substance abuse programs provide a lifeline to help people get straight.
I'm Mom.
And I'm Apple Pie.
You may think there's nothing more American than us, right?
Wrong. There's Walt Disney World's spirit-soaring celebration.
I want you.
This is Pie Country.
There's so much more than ever before.
So, Rob, what do you think about this dinosaur with the long bone on its head?
I really like using the Lambriosaurus because it's a dinosaur I don't think I've seen used before in animation.
What if we made this into a girl dinosaur?
I think that's a great idea, Beck.
Oh, thanks. I think we're getting there.
Hi, I'm Rob Niosi, and this is my partner, Becky Weibel. And every animation starts out as an idea. Right now, Becky's working on a character for our next animation.
As you can see, we're not just trying to figure this out on our own. We've got some books here that we're looking at to help us get ideas. For example, this book has a lot of different dinosaur heads in it. There's all different shapes of bones and horns and eyes and noses. And this book has a lot of different dinosaur bodies, and that helps make what we're doing look a lot better and a lot more interesting. Once we've figured out our characters, we put it all together into what we call a storyboard. As you can see, this is a series of little drawings, and they're in sequence so that we start at the beginning, and here we figured out what's going to happen in the middle of the animation, and here's where we end up. So it's kind of like a map.
You know, storyboards are two-dimensional drawings. If we were to animate these, they'd be like the cartoons you see on TV. But Becky and I, we specialize in a different type of animation. It's a 3D animation. One type of 3D animation is called pixelation. That's where you take an ordinary object, such as this cup, that on its own has no movement, but using motion picture technique, we're able to bring it to life. Watch this. This is Egbert. Egbert's a three-dimensional model of a frog, and he's made up of various materials, mostly different types of clay. The top part of his body is made out of a soft clay that can be manipulated and molded frame by frame in order to create the illusion of animation on film. His legs are made of a clay also, but it's a different type of clay. It's baked and it's hard. And that way we can hinge his knees with little tiny hinges, and when we rotate his unicycle wheel, the hinges operate and give us a nice motion in his legs and his knees. Now, his eyes are made out of just common beads. The animator may want to take a little toothpick and put it in the hole in the bead and move it around. Now, if we want to make Egbert wave, for each frame of film, we may bend the clay just a little bit, and then a little bit more and take another frame. And a little further and we take another frame of film. It's a long, tedious process, but the final result will be Egbert waving just the way you and I would wave. Okay, gang, let's do it. Let's bring this frog to life. Okay, Becky, you're gonna... When we finally get to shooting the final animation, we have several different elements that will be moving. The background set, the character, and the cloud. The camera will be operated by another person as well.
Shooting animation is actually a very slow and tedious process that has to be done very carefully, one frame at a time. It takes about 4 or 5 hours to shoot just 20 or 30 seconds of animation.
If our work time was speeded up to animation time, here's what we'd look like.
To really give a character some personality is to paint it with some special colors and add some details. And some of the details we've added to our dinosaur are things like eyelashes, you can see right here, because after all we said we wanted to make a girl dinosaur. And we also made a special shaped mouth, so it looks kind of friendly and a little feminine. The dinosaur needs a body too, and we're gonna make this a sort of strange and interesting dinosaur in that its body will be a book. What'll happen is a leg will grow out of the corner of it, but it won't just appear finished like this. We're going to start with a little bit of squishy clay, add more and more on a little bit at a time until we formed it into the leg. This process of making things grow and change is called metamorphosis. You can only see it happening on film because we actually do it under the camera. So what do you think, Rob?
It looks terrific. I think we're just about ready to meet Myrtle the Bookosaurus.
a great book. And here are some other good tales. But you don't have to take my word for it.
At first, I pushed the lever forward ever so slightly.
The 1960 sci-fi movie The Time Machine told the story of a man from Victorian England who built a time machine to travel to the future.
By my watch, which was in the machine with me, only a few seconds had passed.
The Oscar-winning film starring Rod Taylor captivated a young Long Island boy named Rob Niosi.
I was 8 years old when I saw it with my father and my brothers. It was just a very memorable time, and it was my introduction to the concept of time travel.
The memory lasted a lifetime. Fast forward more than 50 years later, and Niosi's meticulously recreating a full-scale replica of the time machine used in the movie in his Briarcliff Manor home.
It was a 3.5-month project that is going into its 11th year now.
It's taken that long partly because the project has evolved over the years. In 1999, this former stop-motion animator, who's directed segments of Pee-wee's Playhouse, built a miniature scale model of the movie prop as a Christmas present to his wife and daughter. But after doing research on the internet, he decided to take it to another level and built a full-scale replica.
I'm getting pretty close now after 11 years. I would say I have, I'm about 94.3% there.
Even though he has the original plan from the MGM archives for the time machine used in the movie, Niosi has added a number of personal touches to make this machine his own.
When you press his nose in, it releases the secret compartment door, and it plays this music.
Not just any music, but the actual song from the film titled Time Traveler. Niosi got permission from the composer to use it in his machine. A second secret compartment in front of the chair reveals an especially personal piece of memento.
This is the watch my father got me back in 1960.
So if you want to travel back in time or to the future, why not do it in a comfortable chair? This one is actually an antique barber chair from 1898. It reportedly was part of a private barber shop of the Rockefeller Estate Kaiket here in Sleepy Hollow.
Niosi says unlike the Marty McFly character in the Back to the Future movie, he'd rather travel forward in time, not backwards. So does this mean the little boy who was so awestruck with the Time Machine movie that he spent more than a decade building one believe in time travel?
Is it possible? I don't know. I can only venture to guess. So many things that were science fiction have become science fact. So who knows? We will see.
Michelle Brown, News 12.
That is very cool. Well, Rob Niosi says once the time machine is completed, he's ready to start his next, more ambitious project. He says he plans on building a Victorian-style spaceship. Whew, it's going to need some time for that, too.
I first read an article about the Goblin Man about 2.5 years ago in Popular Technology magazine. And I was just amazed that this wasn't like in the mainstream news. My personal opinion is that it's part of a lost technology. And it wouldn't be unprecedented because there have been technologies that man has developed in the distant past that have become lost. For example, concrete. Concrete was invented by the Egyptians, and then through trial and error it was refined, and the Romans used it extensively. And then at the fall of the Roman Empire, the recipe for concrete was lost. And it wasn't until 1756 in England that it was rediscovered. I believe the Goblin Man is one of those very important technologies, and we will probably find ways of applying it. It will become useful again.